President of Rugby Africa, Mr. Herbert Mensah, says he will propose for Ghana to host international competitions after the African Games. Mr. Herbert Mensah said Ghana now has the foremost international standard rugby stadium in West Africa and as such must be considered in hosting World Rugby tournaments.
The President of Rugby Africa, I am impressed and proud. As a Ghanaian, I'm hugely impressed. Let me explain. Before I became president, there are a number of things that I set as goals. One was that I was hoping that governments across the continent would build a rugby stadium, at least one rugby park, dedicated, not sharing with football, a dedicated rugby park. It's easy to talk, but then when it is that your own president then dedicates and signs off to that, you then have the Africa Games. Rugby has never been part. This is the first time that it's part of. And you put together a rugby part of that level of excellence. The facilities, the stadium, the floodlights, international quality. You shouldn't forget that once it was designated, I brought in our own technical tournament director, John Bosco, and he came in from East Africa along with another team to also help advise what it is that we needed, from changing rooms, the size of the pitch, the peculiarities. Because we believe that if we're going to stage events here, we need to look not just at one event. If the standard was good enough, and it is that the Ghana government was prepared to make that level of investment, then I, as the president of Rugby Africa, should be able to go back, not only to my exco, but I'm also the Council of World Rugby, to take a proposal further forward and say World Rugby style events, if they can maintain it properly, to the standard that we require. Why can't we have one or two or three World Rugby type events here? Age grade events here. Why can't Ghana become a destination address for the global sport of rugby? Because we don't have this facility in any of the surrounding countries. We don't have this facility uniquely anywhere in West Africa. So if it is that we have this sort of thing, with Ghana picking up hosting rights, I don't see why such an edifice cannot now be dedicated to Rugby Africa, World Rugby eventing. So from that viewpoint, I think, wow, it doesn't matter anything else. Ghana has built a rugby park that, of course, we can expand the area where supporters could be. We can look at the ancillary areas around it. As a stadium, as a park, as a facility, as what we have for anti-doping, for men's changing, women's changing, referees, everything else. We have side rooms. So we were able to bring in nearly 40 people to do training and education and nutrition, Medicare and the rest, not only for rugby. We had people traveling in from all over to attend that here in Ghana.